Hot Wheels treasure hunts. How rare are they and how much are they worth? In today's RaceGrooves presentation. I had a comment posted on a video. The Duke 013. Can you do a video on just treasure hunts, what the selling price should be, and the rarity of the cars? He's been watching my videos and has started collecting, but find it hard to find a good video of the treasure hunts as well as the super hunts. And thanks for the bids. Well, the Duke 013, thanks for taking the time to ask your question. Now, treasure hunts are basically, they have like, Mattel makes like one treasure hunt for every case code. So the B case will have a certain treasure hunt. C cases pretty much have a certain treasure hunt. Now, that doesn't mean that treasure hunt's going to be in every case. The basic treasure hunt is definitely more common than the super treasure hunt. You know, I've been doing the case code unboxing for a couple years now, and the basics are in most of the cases, and supers are in 3 out of 15 maybe, so they're pretty rare. Now, when you want to compare them to regular issue cars, they could appear in an A case, and then they could show up again in a B case, and then they could show up later on, D, E, whatever, they could show up again. But treasure hunts really only show up in certain case assortments. Now, that doesn't mean they're that rare though. Alright, you want to know how many are produced? Mattel's not going to say how many treasure hunts they produce. In the beginning, 1995, I'll just give you a little sneak peek here. Here's the JC Penney treasure hunt box set. Now all these single treasure hunts were available in the stores as well, but they did have the special box set for JC Penney. Those treasure hunts were limited to only 10,000 pieces, and Mattel printed it right on the package. Limited to 10,000 pieces. Now, it went up as the years went on. I think it went to 20 or 25, I forget, and then they just stopped putting it on there. And now they won't say how many they produce. We can guess basic treasure hunts. They're in most of the cases. Walmart stores, I think they have like 6,000 locations, whatever. You got Walmart, Toys R Us, let's just say there's, 10,000 stores out there, just USA, between the major retailers. 10,000 cases, 10,000, what did I say? 10,000 stores, right? Let's just say there's 10,000 stores, and let's say each store gets 10 cases, which could be low, could be high, depending on how big the store is. So 10,000 times 10, that's 100,000, right? And basic treasure hunts apparently been in most of them. So, I mean, it's a pretty safe guess, and this is only USA. It's a pretty safe guess to say there's at least 75,000 basic treasure hunts. That's not limited at all. At all, that's not limited, right? But because they're treasure hunts, it's treasure hunts. It's a basic car. Yeah, it's fun to find. Yes, in my videos, I will highlight them. Yes, other collectors will highlight finding, basic treasure hunts. Now, supers, you can speculate that they seem to be 3 cases out of 15. That's just what I got, just over the past, year or so, a couple years. So you can say they're in 1/5 of the cases. So 100,000. So there's at least 20,000. But don't forget, worldwide, and, let's not get into the international short card. That's another different story. Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to bring up a bad subject. But, I'm sure super treasure hunts are 30,000, 40,000, probably closer to 30,000. 30,000 is not limited. Mattel turns around and they make cars 4,000 pieces. They make these special limited editions, 4,000 pieces. They don't even sell out at 4,000 pieces. And they're just as nice as supers. So 4,000 isn't even that limited, but supers are probably 20, 30,000. Easy, right? I'm sure if you read the comments, other people will share in their stories. So why the big deal? Because collectors kind of get into this hype about chase pieces. There's certain people, they only want to collect chase pieces. That's fine. You buy what you like, collect what you want. It's up to you. Me, I don't need the frustration of trying to find every super. It is not worth it. All the time to keep going to the stores and whatnot. Me, my lifestyle, the way my daily schedule is, I'm not going to find a super, alright? You have to know when the stores get their stock. You should keep in touch. It doesn't hurt to ask. And especially if you're younger collector, you know, they might be more willing to say, okay, I'll let you stock the pigs, or I'll let you look through a case or whatnot. I'm not sure. I'm sure they get a lot of older white guys keep bugging them all the time, which, you know, that doesn't help either. So as far as how rare they are, I don't think they're that rare at all. You know, it's just the perceived value. And let's go to perceived value, okay? What are they worth? They're only worth what people are willing to pay. Now let's say supers, obviously more rare, but not only that, they're nicer. They got rubber tires, special paint, so they're going to command a higher price, right? It's about supply and demand. That's the big deal, right? Is how rare are they? How hard are they to find? How many people want them? So the case unboxing I just did had the Fangster basic treasure hunt, okay? The Fangster. The Fangster as a treasure hunt. That's another story. Most collectors not going to want it. Me, found it, great, fine, right? If I found 10 of these on the pigs, if I found 10 of these on the pigs, I probably would pick them up because I have purposes that I can use them for. Now, if you're a regular collector, do you need 10 Fangsters tucked away in a box over here? Yeah, they'll be worth $1 later on, but it's the Fangster. Now, if you had the basic Ford Fiesta, that's definitely more collectible. So if you're going to ask what should be the price on these two, you should know or have a feeling that this one should be worth more and this would be less in the future. How much more? How much less? It's about supply and demand. How much are people willing to pay for this compared to this? This one, this is a $2 treasure hunt, okay? If you find somebody trying to get more, you know, they can try to get more. I'll get to that in a second. But look, this is not all that desirable. This realistic car, all right, this will be more desirable. How much is it worth? I don't like to talk about values, but you know, I can see people wanting $4 or $5 for a basic treasure hunt for this. Easy. Now, if you go to eBay, if you want to know values, I always go to eBay and see what people are paying. Check the closed auctions, see how much somebody wound up bidding for it, and that was the price they were willing to pay, right? So that is the eBay price. That's real world what somebody paid for it. Now, if you go to a collector's show and somebody has the Ford Fiesta for $8, and you think, I'm not paying $8, I'm only willing to pay $5, right? And you know that they sell for $5 on eBay. Well, you know what? It's going to cost you at least $5 shipping plus $5, so you're paying $10. So yeah, real world, $5, but it costs you $10 to acquire. That person at the collector's show, he has or she has, typically they have to pay for the space wherever they're at. And some of those shows are expensive. They have to pay $50 for the space. So, you know, they have to factor that into their costs. So just because something's worth $5 on eBay doesn't mean that it's going to be worth $5 everywhere. What if you're in a country where, you know, or let's say you're in, you could be in another country besides the USA, or maybe you're in a remote part of the USA. Maybe you're in Barstow, California or something, right? Because, oh, as far as I know, there's like a Walmart or something out there. Well, what if that one guy, what if somebody has inroads to the sole Walmart in your location? Well, guess what? It's gonna be hard for you to find the thing, so it's gonna make it perceived to be more rare. But secondly, you can't get it anywhere else. So he kind of controls the supply in the market, and if you want to pay higher, if he wants to charge higher, he might be able to get it, right? Because he's locked up. That's if people don't want to go buy it online. So the answer to how rare are they? They're not really rare. It just depends on who gets to the store first, because basically treasure hunts are going to get bought by whoever finds them, okay? Me personally, if I go to a store and if there's a bunch of basic treasure hunts, I'm going to buy them because I have purposes for them later on. And besides that, stores are not museums. The stuff's there for sale, okay? I have some people locally who, you know, I'd hook them up, or maybe I use them in videos later on. See, I have a purpose for them. But it doesn't matter if I have a purpose or not, because they're there for sale. I'm going to buy them. And pretty much every collector is going to do the same thing. Now, there are some people who leave treasure hunts, like the Fangster. I would not be surprised if some people just leave it on the pegs. Supers, I will never leave a super on the peg. Tell you right now, okay? If there's 10 supers, I'm not going to leave a single one on the peg. I'm just not going to, okay? It's my lucky day. Walked in, there they are, I'm going to buy them. What if all the packages were crushed? Thank you, you just saved me, because now it might be easier for me to open up. But, you know, I'm just saying the way it is. So are treasure hunts that rare? No, they're not rare. Are they hard to find? Yeah, because everybody buys them. I try not to really, I don't make feature videos on treasure hunts because I don't want you guys to focus on treasure hunts. I want you to enjoy the hobby. Okay? There's tons of other cars that are fun to collect. It's not worth the frustration. Yes, it would be nice to have a super, to have a basic treasure hunt. When you find, you do your little happy dance, okay? That's what it's about. It's about having fun, enjoying the hobby and collecting. Now, let's say you like a certain casting. Let's say you like a Mustang Mach 1. Okay, I did a video on the Mustang Mach 1. Came out in the Cool Classics. Well, that casting has had 2 treasure hunts, right? So, go ahead and pick those up off of eBay. Okay? For one, they're a long time ago. Now, let's say Mustang, there's a Mustang coming up as a super. Okay? Let's say there is. Try to find it. If you can't, just wait. Don't buy it that month that they come off, because you know what? Prices are going to be high because everybody's trying to get that super. But later on, the next month, people are always chasing for the newest. And then what you do, you know what? Just wait for as the new ones keep their high price, the older ones, the prices start going down. So you just wait. And if there's a super that you have to have, then just wait for the price to come down. I've been collecting since 1998. I can wait. Okay? I'm not in a big hurry to gotta have it now. I don't have to. I'm in it for the long run. If you're a new collector, trust me, I was there before. I was hunting every day. I was going to every store every day. 8 o'clock, Target. 9:30, Toys R Us. 10 o'clock, KB Toys. They're gone. You know, next thing you know, you spent hours out trying to find stuff. And in the end, you realize, maybe I'm spending too much time hunting. So, treasure hunts, fun to find. Don't worry about it too much, okay? There's plenty of other cars. Now, I'm going to go ahead, before I transition to the next segment, I'm going to have a video that talks about the logos and treasure hunts in the past. Just because the Circle Flame logo is on the basic treasure hunts right now, doesn't mean that logo is a treasure hunt on everything that it's ever been on. Okay, they've only been using that the last couple of years. But let me go ahead and give you a close-up on a couple items. But be sure to check out that other video at the end where I talk about treasure hunts and a little bit of history. Okay, but for most part, you're going to see me focusing on the fun parts of the hobby, and I don't focus too much on value. All right, I just want you to enjoy. Yes, it's good to do your homework. Make sure you know what something's worth. All right, don't just walk up to a collector show and the guy has, a treasure hunt Ford Fiesta, $15, and you think, hey, it's a treasure hunt, $15, it's worth it. Are you sure? Do your homework. Go online, check eBay. You should know what you want to buy, what they're worth. So let's say you wind up at a collector show and they have it. You should already know what the value is of that and what you're willing to pay. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and show you now the 2 key treasure hunts, the highest valued treasure hunts to date. These 2 are the creme de la creme in anybody's collection. Okay, now let me just get the basic out of the way. Circle Flame logo. It appeared on the rear of the Fangster. There you can see it. There's your Fangster. Now with the Ford Fiesta, they put it right there behind the front tire. You see it? That's the basic treasure hunt logo for the last couple of years. But check out my video at the end. That logo has not been the treasure hunt symbol forever. It's been used before, and those were not treasure hunts. Another point with basics and sometimes supers is they'll put text behind the car. You can see it behind the car. Now I've opened one up, so let me just show you what it says. This symbol on the vehicle lets you know it's hard to find and highly collectible. Now this one here is for the treasure hunt Circle Trucker. Alright, that text is behind the package, And there's a real good look at the circle flame logo. I opened up my Super Camaro, my Super 67 Camaro. Now with this one, stripes on the hood, rubber tires. I don't remember if it had a TH logo, but let me go ahead and show you these here. Thanks to G Chavez 13, he's over there on Instagram, G Chavez 13. Thanks for hooking me up with this Super 10 Toyota Tundra. If you look up on the upper left, has a TH logo. This is a Super, okay? The Supers tend to have the TH logo. There's been a couple that didn't. If the licensor didn't want Mattel to put the TH logo on there, then they don't put the TH logo. It's up to what the licensor allows Mattel to do. Shiny paint, rubber tires, okay? That's what makes the Super. Now this 10 Toyota Tundra is in the basic lineup with just basic paint, basic wheels. Now if you find a red Toyota Tundra, that doesn't mean it's the Super. It has to be the one with the real rider tires, TH logo. Now this one doesn't have stripes on the hood. A lot of times the Supers will have tampos on the hood. Let me show you this one here. You got your sandblaster, nothing behind the car, but it has real rider tires. It has decals on the hood. The basic one does not have that on the hood, and it kind of has a different paint job. You can tell when you see it. On the card you can see it has the stripes on the hood, or flames on the hood. There'll be a difference between the regular. There's a regular sandblaster in green, but does not have rubber tires, doesn't have the flames on the hood. This one does have TH. And normally I said I don't collect Supers, but I have this one I got in a case. And as far as the Toyota Tundra, I have a video I would like to do. So Gabriel helped me acquire that one. Now let's go ahead and show to date the most expensive treasure hunts, okay? Here is number 2, the second highest valued treasure hunt. Nicknamed the Silver Cuda. It was the 1971 Plymouth GTX. And the reason why this one is of high value is because the designer designed it, and then the factory sent him a sample, and then he got the sample and he said, it doesn't look good with the silver, I guess. And then he changed it to red. What he didn't know is they had already started producing it. So some of these silvers did get out. That's why this one is of high value. Most treasure hunts are produced probably in the same quantities. Don't know that for sure. But this Silver Cuda is verified to be rare. Okay, maybe only a couple hundred. I'm not sure how many. All right, but I'll tell you how much this one. Right now, this one's going for about $160, $180. If you hold out, that's what you can pay. And that is because it is rare. All right, there's a story behind it. It's definitely rare. But just because something's rare doesn't mean it's going to be worth money. Here we have that treasure hunt. I gave you a sneak peek. Now, normally I was going to save this for a special video, but because the topic came up, I'm going to use this as a prop to tell my story. So here you go. First time on YouTube that I showed my 1995 JC Penney treasure hunt box set. All of these cars here were limited to 10,000 pieces. So you would think that, hey, they'd all be worth money, right? They'd all be worth a lot of money because they're the first. Most of them have rubber tires, but actually some don't. So even though they all have the same quantity, 10,000, that doozy down there, not worth a whole lot. Cobra, kind of collectible. Nomad, not worth too much. Stutz, not too much. Not too much, not too much. Here you got a Corvette, real rider tires, white stripes. That's worth, I don't know. It's worth what someone's willing to pay. Now that slug bug right there, that VW bug, yeah, it's Herbie right now, but it's been around a long time. That one is one of the more collectible ones for that year, for the first year. 57 T-Bird, it's an okay piece. Here you got 442. Here you got the Gold Passion. And there were several variations of the Passion. I guess it came with, I forget the wheels, something. But this is the one. This is the #1 treasure hunt. If you're going to try to get the expensive stuff, that one right there, as far as I know, $350 to $400 just for that one car. Why? It's just as rare as the other one. It's about supply and demand. Okay, even though the supply is the same between all of these, the demand is higher for the 67 Camaro. And because it has a higher demand, people are willing to pay more to acquire it. So, does that mean you get a 67 Camaro for your collection, the treasure hunt? Well, as long as you got your priorities right. That's up to you. It's your money. Spend it how you want. Thanks for asking, Mr. The Duke 013. Happy collecting. Bye-bye.